You're watching Movieguide. Hi, I'm Cheryl Crisp, your host for Backstage Pass, and we have an exclusive interview with four King and Country brothers, Joel and Luke, and they talk about their first movie, Priceless.
Well, the film really dates back indirectly to about 6 years ago. Our oldest sister was a gospel singer for many years by the name of Rebecca St. James, and as Luke mentioned, we traveled with her as Dad needed cheap labor, so it put us all to work. But we also, later in her career, sort of backed her up as her band. One day we were doing a women's event. So it was 500 women in this room, and we were about to step on stage, and Luke and I were like the two token guys at this event. And I remember Mum came to us right before we stepped on stage, because Luke and I were going to sing a few of our own songs, and she said, "Hey, you have an opportunity to share something with these girls. Just think about that as you walk on stage." And so that night, really 6 years ago, we shared with these young ladies, celebrating their worth and charging us as men to be chivalrous in how we love. And so you carry that message on into the King Country as it was formed, something we continue to share with women and with men. We had the idea of making these necklaces that have an Australian 1 cent coin on them, and they're kind of a nod to our homeland, but they also stand as this oxymoron that a woman is worth more than all the money in the world. And we've seen, I think, 300,000 Americans kind of rally around this. So then about 2 years ago, we went to our brother Ben, who's a filmmaker, and we said, "Hey, look, we do our music videos with him, and we've always wanted to do a feature." We said, this message seems so potent and so timely, and it's resonating so deeply with our audience. What if we look at writing a story? And so he actually pulled, the film is inspired by true stories. He pulled a story that he had heard from years ago, and so he pulled that story. And we, at the same time, had sort of taken our Priceless message. We married the two to what ultimately became the film. And the film follows my character, a young man by the name of James, down and out, lost his wife in a tragic accident. Daughter was taken by Child Protective Services because he was neglecting her. And so in an effort to try and get his life back on track, he takes an under-the-table transportation job to drive from here to here straight through. No questions asked. He takes the job, falls asleep at the wheel, runs off the road, finds out that he's transporting two young ladies, sisters. And so then the rest of the film is him sort of figuring out, he becomes a bit of a renegade, trying to figure out what is he going to do? What is a life worth? He starts falling for one of the girls, and I won't spoil it from there. But it's
because we want you to go see the movie. I'm just kidding.
Daunting, because not only was it a major role, it was an American role, and so I had who's become a great friend and very talented dialect coach by the name of Steve Carone. He's worked with Helen Mirren and Gerard Butler. He came out on the road with us, and actually we were doing fairs. I actually think we were doing Delaware State Fair.
We were actually at this fair
when he was out with us a year ago, almost today, and we would set up in the back lounge every day, and we just for a few hours we would go through the script. He would sort of ping me on terminology and dialect, and so I had that I was a bit daunted about. And then I was acting opposite some really remarkable actors. We had David Koechner from The Office and from Anchorman, who traditionally is a very comedic actor. He's done 100+ films as a comedian, but we had him play this serious role. So think like Steve Carell and Foxcatcher or Robin Williams in Dead Poets Society. So he was so great. We had Jim Parrack from True Blood and Suicide Squad that's coming up, and also Fury opposite Brad Pitt, and he kind of plays the villain. And again, actors can very easily sort of lord their experience over you, or try to embarrass you almost on screen, and I never felt that. I in fact, I felt the opposite. I felt like they came in, because I think they were so passionate about the story and just good people, they came in and wrapped their arms around me as an actor. And then finally, Bianca Santos, who from The Duff and Aoji, and she plays kind of the love interest opposite me, she did exactly the same thing. And so I felt, with my brother behind the camera, with Luke as a producer, with this dialect coach with headphones on for every scene, and then these great actors really putting their arms around me, I felt so lifted up, and so like the only thing I could do was mess it up, because I'd just been so set up to win.
The story that we are telling, we were trying to figure out how can we communicate the value of a life. How can you communicate the value of a soul? And I think trafficking is the opposite of that. Really, it all comes back to us trying to tell a story of the fact that every person is priceless, is significant, has a purpose, is needed, is loved, is cared for by somebody. And we couldn't think of a better illustration than what the trafficking world is. It doesn't sum up the be all and end all of our film, but we do touch on it because it is a subject that needs light. But really, the movie is a love story, drama, thriller that is highlighting the fact that we believe that women are priceless. And I hope that men, when they watch the film, they take certain ownership of that, saying, hey, we've created some of these problems that we've got going on here. We are the root of a lot of this. And so we hope that people will leave those theaters feeling changed, and thinking to themselves, how can I practice some of these very simple things just in my own life, the way that I go about showing kindness and compassion to people that a lot of times don't think that they deserve kindness and compassion. Two things have happened in our career. The ceasefire situation, that a song would come out at such a time as this, but also the priceless message dealing with these horrific situations that we're dealing with now, with the shootings and all. And really it comes back to both sides. People feeling like, you don't care for me because of the way I look. You don't care for me because of the way I am.
Or the gender I am.
And the gender I am, whatever it might be. And that to me is heartbreaking, as somebody who's got little kids, as somebody who looks out on an audience and sees a crowd of people. When I see somebody that comes up in a signing line and they feel like they're worth nothing, there's nothing like that. Your soul leaps for that person. And I feel like it's not by coincidence that we felt passionate about this subject, that it's been in production for nearly 2 years. And right at the same time as all of these things are coming out, that we have what we call, in a roundabout way, the year of Priceless. That this is what we're promoting. This is our these are our bullet points. The significance of a human life and a person, no matter who you are, is priceless to us.